Hey guys, welcome back to Modern Polygyny. I'm Ray.
I'm Prince.
And on this channel, we discuss polygyny and relationships in general. On this channel, we uplift, encourage, and support people in this lifestyle and people who have a genuine curiosity for this lifestyle. We will not debate or go back and forth with you because this is the choice that we've made for our family. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to know you're ready for polygyny as a woman.
Oh, this is good.
It is. All right, so the first thing you need to be doing as a woman starting this journey into polygyny is working on your own self-development. So if you haven't started working on it already, as soon as the situation comes up, that's something you definitely need to start working on, because there's going to be some things that are going to come up that you didn't know were there or that you ignored, and it's going to stare you in your face, and you're going to have no choice but to deal with it or not get involved in polygyny. Those are going to be your two choices. So I suggest start working on your own self-development, go to therapy, get some of the old trauma that you forgot about, you're going to have to dig all of that up and start working on that, because you're going to have to learn how to cope with stress on many different levels. You're going to have to learn to deal with a lot of different things that you're not used to dealing with. And like I said, it's like a mirror. It's going to bring up things that you didn't even know that you had going on. So that's the first thing you need to do.
Yes. And if I can chime in on that, to be transparent about our situation, we started this journey 3 years ago.
Right.
And she has definitely done a lot of work on herself, and I can attest to that. Our first relationship that, we started to get into, she kind of sabotaged it. Mm-hmm. We had a real good thing going on.
We had a good situation. And I sabotaged it. Because I wasn't prepared.
Yeah. And she, and this goes to show all the work that has to be done, because she's the one that
I wanted to do it.
She wanted to do this. Like, she brought it up to me.
Yeah.
Right? And when it actually started to happen,
I got nervous.
She got nervous, feelings started to come up, and and I was doing everything the right way. Yeah. As a man, I went.
Yeah, it wasn't him, it was me.
and it was within the rules and boundaries that we set forth.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show how hard this is. But as a man, if you're watching this video as well, you have to have a level of maturity and compassion for your partner, right? Because when these feelings started to come up, and she's like, "Yo, look, I don't know if I could do this," as perfect and as good things, as good as things were going. I'm sorry. I had to, slow up on that whole situation, and
right.
Then the other woman, she decided to move on,
right,
in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
But that just goes to show, as a man, like, hey, look, let them have their control. Like, let them have their piece and their say-so on this.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't want them to be forced. It shouldn't be like a real horrible situation. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be that way. Right. So, I'm sorry, I think I got a little bit off topic.
That's okay.
Yes.
Self-development is very important. And that's the first thing you're going to have to work on. Because whether or not you're in a polygynous relationship, you need to be better for yourself. Right. And for your kids and for your family. So, forget about the polygyny thing altogether, and you still have to be better for yourself. So the first thing is self-development. So the second thing you need to work on is your emotional regulation. So I don't want to say any absolutes, but a lot of times women, we go off of our emotions and the way that we feel rather than our logic. So in order for this relationship to work, you're going to have to learn how to regulate your emotions, because your emotions are going to go wild. One day it's not even by the day, it's like by the hour. So 1 hour you might be okay. At 1 p.m. you might be okay. And then at 3 p.m. you understand what I'm saying? Like, it could get really wild and chaotic. And you're going to have to learn to control those emotions. So I would say good communication with your spouse, because if you're feeling, for instance, let me give an example. If my husband is talking to somebody, right? And they're hitting it off, everything's going well. Nobody's doing anything they're not supposed to. Everything's going smooth, right? I may start to feel like, yo, he is trying to replace me. Like, he don't want me to be here, right? He never said that. He's not acting like that. He's not packing his bags.
And I'm not
he's not
treating you
taking
different.
no, he's not treating me different. He didn't take my name off the bank account. So like none of this is real. It's all emotions and it's all in your head. So what you want to do is be able to communicate that. And that's where having a gentle spouse comes into. You need somebody who's gentle, who's understanding, who's going to help walk you through this because it's hard. And you're gonna need to communicate. Even if you can't communicate it, at least keep it under control, because you don't want to be chaotic, because you can ruin relationships. And I've done it, and you don't want to do it. It's not a good thing.
Right.
So I would definitely, emotional regulation, look it up, emotional intelligence. You're going to need it here for sure. So number 3, I would say do your research, and not just horror stories either, because that's really all that you see, right? So on Seeking Sister Wives, you see a lot of horror stories. There are a lot of bad things that can happen. Just in general, nobody wants to participate in this lifestyle because of all the horror stories that they've heard. But there are good stories, and I encourage you, please, share your positive stories in the description, not in the description box, in the comments, or go to our Facebook page and share your positive stories, because we really need to hear them, not just for us, but for everybody else who's looking at this lifestyle too. So I would do your research, and along with doing your research, I would say talk to your spouse and set expectations, because we all want to have some type of control in our lives, right? So you want to know, where's this other spouse going to be living? How is your husband going to divide his time? Who's going to work? Who's staying home? Is everybody working? Are both wives staying home? Am I going to take the kids to school? Are you going to take the kids to school? Like, who's in charge of dinner tonight? So you want to talk to your husband, so that way you know what you're looking for, because you don't want to go into it head first without knowing anything, and then you're blindsided by things that he was expecting of you and things that you were expecting of him, and everybody's up in arms because nobody really knows what was going on in the first place. So I would say, along with doing your research, you and your spouse need to set your expectations so everybody is on the same page.
Right. And if you look hard enough, it's a shame to have to say hard, but if you look hard enough, you will find other positive channels that's here on YouTube and other places, and I'm pretty sure they have some type of groups and stuff like that you can join. If not, join ours. But like I said, it just goes back to try to not just focus on the horror stories, because there's horror stories everywhere, right? And don't let the horror stories deter you, because it's the same thing in monogamous relationships, right? I've heard horror stories about marriage.
Right. Nobody wants to be in relationships anymore.
Yeah, like I personally, and this is sad, I don't know too many. I've been around marriages before. I haven't seen too many happy marriages, like where people are happy. Like, I've always told that, marriage is horrible. Like,
you gotta be tied down to one person.
Yeah, you're tied down, that's your ball and chain, and all these crazy things, right? But that's not how I view marriage, and that's not how I feel about my marriage, and we've been together for 8 years. Yeah. So, we're like best friends. Like,
I enjoy my
we
marriage.
hang out all the time, we date, and that's important too. But like I said, if you wouldn't let horror stories deter you away from marriage in general, you shouldn't let horror stories deter you away from polygyny or polygamy.
Right. So 3rd point, do your research and set your expectations. So the 4th and final point that I have is be honest with yourself about your current relationship and the red flags that are there. A lot of times, not even in polygyny, but in regular relationships, people bypass the red flags, and then they wonder why their relationship is a mess, because he showed you who he was, or she showed you who she was, and you didn't believe them. So this is so important. If things are not going well in your current marriage, if you're a woman, but even if you're a man, don't even try to get yourself involved in something like this, because this brings extra layers of stuff. And you want to go into it clean. You don't want to go into it already climbing mountains. Like, you want it to be as smooth and as peaceful as possible getting into this. So I would say be honest with yourself. If you don't have a good man, then you don't have a good man. That's it. Like, you're not going to make him a better man by adding another woman. You're actually going to ruin her life by bringing her into this situation. And you don't want to do that to somebody. You want to know that when you bring somebody in, you're doing it with the best intentions and in the best way that you possibly can, even as the woman in the relationship, because that's not right for you to bring somebody in a relationship and ruin their life. Right. So I would say be honest with yourself and even be honest with your spouse. I'm not ready for this because we have this problem, or I'm not ready for this because we have this problem. It sounds like a good idea, but we need to work on this. And if you guys are both willing to work on that and progress is shown, then you can move on to the next step. But until then, I wouldn't try anything that has to do with adding another person until all the red flags are cleared up. If they can be cleared up.
If they can be cleared up.
Sometimes they can't. So, that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
I don't really have anything else much to say. You know, this is how you know you're ready as a woman.
As a woman, okay.
And I'm a man.
Right.
That's a whole nother video for me.
Okay.
But yeah, everything she just said.
Okay. So that's all I have for you guys. Those are my 4 points, and how to know that you're ready as a woman for a polygynous relationship. If you have any questions, our email will be in the description box. Our Facebook and our Instagram are down in the description box. You're more than welcome to comment. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in our next video. Bye. Peace.